That's right. We have Ruby still. What? Don't judge me. Once you go vintage, you never go back. It's been a few months. I'm still sewing on my 1951 Singer 301, and I am loving every single second of it. Hey, friends, welcome to Friday night. It is the weekend, and it's time to get some serious sewing done. I am going to be working on a block of the month that I have from Stitch in Heaven, and it's a whole story, and I'm going to share it with you. This is a block of the month for a king-size quilt that looks like this. It is called Arabella. It will measure 108 inches by 108 inches when it's all done, and I believe it is a 12-month program, I think. Something like that. It's a doozy, and I am doing it in this colorway. So this is how it will look when it's all put together. But there's a bit of a story that goes along with this. Story time, are you ready? So I signed up for this because Stitch in Heaven has tons of block of the months. And when I saw this one scroll up in my Facebook feed, I was like, oh, yes, please. Absolutely. I want to do that. And I want it in the boutiques. And so I signed up for it. The cost of the block of the month is a little pricey. It's about $55, I think, dollars. And that includes all of your fabric, though. All the fabric for the quilt top and your backing fabric, if I'm not mistaken. But the other neat thing that happens is they're doing die cut pieces similar to how Cotton Cuts does it, only they're doing it a little bit differently. Their pre-cut pieces come a little, well, not all of them come bigger. The squares are exact, but when you get a triangle piece or something like that, you're going to make a half square triangle unit or a flying geese unit, it will be bigger than it's supposed to be. And so you are going to have to size those down, which I actually kind of love because it's helping me keep my point absolutely on. The story that I have for you is funny. So the block of the month comes in this little jacket, and there's a different sheet of paper for every single month. And what I want to show you is that the block of the month is all black and white on the paper. And it doesn't match up to the colors that are in here, but it does match up to the prints for one of the colorways, which is all grayscale. So there is that. The problem is the way they have labeled their fabric. If I could give them a piece of advice, I would love them to name the fabrics different. So for example, let me just show you on the piece of paper. I want to point this out. I don't know if they'll ever even see this video, but if they do, this is my only piece of feedback because it makes my brain hurt sometimes. You have all of these fabrics, and those are the cutting instructions for them. And so when they label the fabrics for the pre-cut pieces, they call it Fab 1, and then they put the cut measurement. And then Fab 2, and they put these 3 cut measurements, which makes my brain kind of hurt a little bit. And it might just be because of the way the pattern's written. They may just be following the pattern, which is fine because the pattern instructions actually reference fabric the same way. And in my head, I'm like, why couldn't you call that fabric 1A? Why couldn't you call that fabric 2A, 2B, 2C, 2D? And here's why. Because I totally messed up on month 2. I got month 1 in, I got it done. I had it done before month 2 came in. I felt like I was on top of it, guys. Like I was doing it. Month 2 came, I was like, yes, let's get this. And I sit down and I made 16 half square triangle units out of the right fabric colors. But then I realized I used the wrong fabrics to make the half square triangle units. So I had to email Stitch in Heaven and asked them for some replacement fabric. I actually didn't know that they would replace the fabric pieces, the pre-cut pieces. So I was prepared to just ask them, please tell me the line of the fabric so I can buy more. But they actually sent out replacement pieces, which was totally nice. They just dropped it in the mail. And when I got that little envelope, I put it in the bin and I was like, no. Do you ever know, you know what do you ever have that issue where you're working on something and then you make a mistake that you know you can recover from, but you know the next time that you go to sit at the project, you have to recover from that mistake? That's the paralysis that I was dealing with. I knew I had to figure out what the mistake was, what the impact was going to be, and get started on it. And I kind of just left it on the shelf for a while. But this week I decided to pull it off and figure out what went wrong, sort everything out, take a few deep breaths, and get month 2 done so that I could keep moving forward. And so that's what I'm going to be working on tonight. And I will have the blocks for month 2 done before the live stream's over, and might even have month 3 done. So I'm working on getting that caught up tonight. And I hope that you're going to take this opportunity to chat with each other, chat with me. I do have the chat up in front of me, so feel free to tag me if there's something you'd like me to see. And just be creative and find your happy place. That's it. That's all we do here on Friday nights. We support each other. We love each other. We share pictures of what we're working on, whether it's coloring, painting, knitting, crocheting, sewing, quilting, watching TV, eating ice cream, whatever it is that brings you joy for these 2 hours. I give you permission to do that. And whatever that looks like, no judgment. All right. Except maybe if it brings you joy to not be kind to people, then don't do that. So I'm going to get busy working on this. But before I do want to say hi to my channel supporters. Those are folks that are here in the chat. Their names are green. I just want to give them a shout out. So let me scroll. Whoa, I didn't mean to scroll up that high. So we've got Sophie Bertell is here. Hello. We've got Melissa Feldhaus, Pamela Troxel, Becky Spencer. Oh, that's Becky Quinn. Never mind. Angela Christine. I will show you that in a moment because I'm sure you guys, what are you looking for? Zaza's here. Hello. Shelley Clark. Hello. Pat Strawhouse. Welcome back from your mega extravaganza camping trip. Angela's here. Kerma is here. And she is here with Stephanie Fulton. Hello, Stephanie Fulton. Let's see who else is in green. Stacy Baker, Math Geek. I read those names. Jean, Glennie. Hello, 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 hello. Doreen. Hello. And I think I've got all of the green names that are on my chat. If I missed you, just know I say hi. Melissa Shaw says, Becca, I'm eating ice cream. Pamela Troxel is asking, would you recommend their block of the month programs worth it? Was thinking about doing one and have never done one. Yeah, actually I would. It is pricey. I will give you that. But the fabric's good quality. I've never had a problem with any of the shipping. Like, I know that's out of their control. That's USPS, but everything gets to me. It's in good order when it gets here. I've not actually had a block of the month that hasn't gotten to me. So the reason why I'm qualifying that is because I don't want anybody to feel like I'm throwing shade at puzzle mystery quilts with cotton cuts, because I've never had a shipping problem with them either. So both are great. As far as Stitch in Heaven goes, I would totally do it. And they've got a ton to choose from. Some of them are pre-cut, and I believe all of their kits include the backing fabric. Just take it slow. If it looks like it's an intricate quilt, mine is, just give yourself grace to work on it a little bit at a time. It is okay to not finish your entire month's progress in one session. So if you've got to break that up a little bit and work on a little bit at a time, that's okay too. Heck, I did sign up for the Wild West Puzzle Mystery Quilt, honestly. I'm doing the colorway Delilah in a size large. I am paying for it, and I am doing it as a personal sew. I'm not making content for the Puzzle Mystery Quilt this go around. I just wanted the freedom to be able to enjoy the Puzzle Mystery Quilt without having to make the content, if that makes sense. I want to take this one off. But I'm enjoying the process with that, though I've only done one clue. I tell you all of that because it was funny. When I got my month 1 clue in, I sat down and I started sewing it, and I was being very meticulous about everything. And then I decided about halfway through I wanted to take a break. And I put everything neatly back in my bin and I put it on the shelf behind me and I walked away. And last night, or maybe it was the night before, I can't remember. It was whatever night this week I was able to sew. All my days blur together. I came in and sat down and said, okay, I'm going to get caught up on Block of the Months. I'm caught up on Tree of Life. I was a little behind on that, but I am officially fully caught up on Tree of Life now. And so now I need to get caught up on Wild West because I think I left month 1 halfway done and I would like to get that caught up before Clue 2 gets here, and that's going to be shipping soon. So I pulled it out and I got my card out and I got my fabric out and I set it down and I opened it up. Girl, I had the whole month done. I didn't know that I finished the Clue. I think it was an elf that came in and did it. So just give yourself grace to break it up if you need to and just enjoy the process. Go for one that looks a little bit smaller, a little bit easier on your pocketbook, maybe a little bit easier on your skill set. If you're not sure if it's something that is right for you, just make sure that you're going to like what the quilt looks like when it's all done and enjoy the process. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. I was going to do something else and it has already escaped me. I was going to do something before all of that, before I started sharing that story with you. Oh, cool. I got 2 thumbs down. I need to close this because that distracts me. Thank you for the thumbs down. I'm glad you're still watching. I forgot what I was going to say before then, so I'm just going to get to the sewing part. And maybe something in the chat will jog my memory. So right now what I'm doing is adding the side borders to the block that I made. This is the center block for month 4. We're making 4 of these blocks. And I've already put the solid piece on this side. I'm going to put the other strip on this side. So I'm going to take the time to get this all lined up. And we're going to switch to the 3 camera view and get this going. There we go. Martha's Creative Life. Hello, Martha. She said, giving ourselves grace. That is so beautiful. I needed that. Absolutely. Give yourself grace in all areas of life. Crafty159 says, hello, Becca. Hello to you too. I am going to take a minute to pin these. Be like Taylor Swift, shake it off. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. Thank you, Ian, for talking. Do you guys see the blue ribbon behind me? I got a blue ribbon, you guys. I totally won a blue ribbon. Do you see it right there? Do you see that blue ribbon? That's my first blue ribbon ever. It's a sticker. It came back with the quilts that Beth had quilted for me. Quilt. Beth, I use Beth's services to quilt the quilts that I don't want to quilt or don't need to quilt and just need to get done. And I sent her a box of quilts a while ago, and I was just like, whenever you have time in between other client quilts, just toss it on the long arm and quilt it up, send me an invoice, and ship it on back. And so one of the quilts she sent back, and she gave me a little sticker pack, and one of them was a sticker that she designed that looks like a little blue ribbon with a rosette on it. So Ian, I sent a picture of it to Ian. I was like, OMG, I have a blue ribbon, finally! And then I probably put it on my shelf. So fun. Yay for ribbons or stickers. Good evening, Karen Little. She says, good evening from sunny, hot Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Hello. Zaza says, a blue ribbon is a blue ribbon. I'd take it. Right? It was also funny because Ian's been sending boxes of fabric and quilts and things here that he just doesn't trust the movers to move to his new apartment. And so he's asked me to just kind of hold on to them and keep them safe until he lands in the area and the movers get here and we get the keys to his apartment. So he's been sending boxes here. Got so many boxes. I've just been stacking them up. And there's one box sitting by the door to my sewing room that he mailed. And he said, well, he didn't mail it, actually. I think it was Rachel Nelson that mailed it to him. I guess he had a quilt in a quilt show that Rachel Nelson, who is on the channel sometimes, or a lot of times, I guess, she had actually posted with her guild, and he told her when it was time to return it just to mail it here. So she mailed it here. I have it in my possession, and I keep teasing him that I'm going to open it up and look at the quilt. And one night we were talking, he's like, oh yeah, you can totally open that up. It's just a bed quilt. It's already been washed and everything. I was like, really? So I can just go open it and snuggle with it? And he was like, sure, why not? And then he told me there's a ribbon in the box too. And I was like, well, doggone. I'm definitely going to open it now. I didn't open it. It's still closed. Just making sure that my flying geese are going in the right direction before I stitch these down. Oh boy. Hello, Mary. Mary is in the chat as the Crafty Panda. Everybody give Mary some love. I'm trying to get these points lined up the best I can, but if it's not perfect, it's not perfect, and it'll be okay. The Squirrely Quilter. I feel like I was told who that was recently. Either I heard them tell somebody, like, explain their, like, either I saw them on someone else's channel, or I talked to them. I don't remember. I can't remember, but I feel like I got to put a face and a real name with that YouTube name, and I don't remember who it is. I'm so sorry. Ian is moving at the end of September. I think he has the exact dates for you, but I think he'll be here. Lisa from Retreat. Thank you. I knew it. I was like, I know, I'm supposed to know that name, and I can't remember who it is. Thank you, Janine. Somebody said that I have more strength than I do because they would have totally opened the box. I could understand that. My feet are a little chilly tonight. How are you guys liking the sound of the singer? Are you still enjoying it? I don't have a ton of pepper energy right now. I'm just kind of in the zone. And I feel like I should be entertaining y'all a little bit. But my week was... Oh, I know what I can tell you about. Let me tell you... I like telling stories. Let me tell you a story. Story time! Karen Little says, I love the sound of Ruby. That singer has a real nice purr. Gosh, I love boutiques. And yes, I love the sound. See? I don't even need to talk. You guys can just sit here and listen to Ruby. All right. Don't remember what way it said to press the seam. It really didn't. So I'm just going to press it whichever way this wants to go, or whichever way I feel like putting it. Oh, okay. Mary said she just sent me a text. She said we have lots of stuff for giveaways. So why don't we do a couple of giveaways tonight, Mary? I'll let you just run those. Just text me whenever the bot picks a name so I can announce it out loud. But I'll let you run some giveaways with the bot if you would like. That would be great. Everybody loves a good giveaway, right? So, Becca, does your state have an all state shop hop? I just spent 2 days doing part of the all Illinois shop hop, 6 shops yesterday and 5 shops today. We actually had a mid Atlantic shop hop, which consisted of Maryland, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and maybe some others. But yeah, it was a big deal. It was a big deal. It might still be going on. I actually don't know the dates of it. My shop hop every year is when I come back from Alabama. That's when I do my shop hop. If they're doing an organized shop hop, great. If they're not, I'm still doing my shop hop, but that's when I do it. I am using, because I'm sure somebody is going to ask, what is it that I am using on the seams of my block? It is the Acorn Easy Press pen. This is a starch pen that you can use to just draw a little line of liquid starch right on your seam. And that helps get that seam really super flat. And so I do a combination of that with my clapper whenever I have a bulky seam. Ian, thank you so much for keeping me honest. People are asking, how was the New Kids on the Block concert? Gosh, I forgot it's been 2 weeks since I've done a live, hasn't it? So the New Kids on the Block concert was great. My sister hasn't been to one in a few years, so it was really nice to be able to see her go. We went to, I think it was the Merriweather something in Columbia, Maryland. So it was like a 2.5 hour drive with traffic to the venue, and then about an hour and a half drive home after the concert was over. The music was good. They put out a new album this year that I just really have been enjoying a lot of. It's got a nostalgic feeling for me, and I've just really enjoyed listening to it. So it was nice to hear some of their old hits and hear some of their new music. And I just sat. I didn't get up and dance around a whole lot. I just sat and listened to the music and sang along and watched everybody else having a great time. I was in my happy place. It was great. It was great. And there goes the raffle. I saw somebody put in the chat that they ordered one of these off Amazon and it was transformational. It's a big deal. It helps. It doesn't, like, the thinner your seams are, the less difference you'll notice. But when you have a really thick seam, a thick seam, it definitely helps. The combination of that pen with a clapper, chef's kiss. All right, so this is what my block looks like now, and I'll leave this here so you can see it while I start to build out the rest of it. I think those are just scrap pieces, honestly, because this is just about done. I've got to put the top and bottom border on, and then my 4 blocks for month 4 will be complete, and my 4 blocks for month 2 will be complete, and then I can start trying to wrap my mind around month 3 or move on to a different project. Oh gosh, that's so pretty. Like, sometimes I like to make something and then just set it down in the camera and then just look at my monitor, because sometimes the things that we make, we don't see the beauty in them until we see a picture of it. That's why they always tell you to take a picture of it with your phone and walk away and look at the picture, because it forces you to kind of take a step back and look at it. So All right. These are the top and bottom borders, and these go down here like that. And this goes up here like this, and then like this, and then like this. So my bottom border is already pieced. Ian's asking, was the concert very demure, very mindful? Do you guys know that thing that's going around? Like, I've only seen a couple of reels with it. There's this audio on TikTok or Instagram where she's talking about how she puts her makeup on for work and how it's very demure. I don't know the whole thing behind it. I think I'm too old for this trend, but it's popped up on several reels. Very demure, very mindful. I don't remember the whole thing, but I think that's what Ian was referencing with that message. Doop, 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 doop. So this week, Zoe started back to school. On Monday, it was her first day back into school. She is in the 8th grade this year. She'll be 14 in a couple of months. Can you believe it? When the heck did that even happen? Next year, she'll be in high school. What? What? For those of you that live in Virginia or close to it, the Quilt Expo will be in Fredericksburg the last weekend of September. I think it's the 27th, 28th, something like that. Ian and I are going to drive down with my friend Erin from Love So Modern. We're going to drive down from Northern Virginia down to Fredericksburg on Saturday. So if you are in the area and trying to take in a quilt show, we'll probably be at the quilt show most of the day that day. Stop by and say hi. We'll try to have some stickers to hand out if you see us. Okay, I'm just going to be aware of where this seam is going so I can nest. So I'm going to press it underneath here. And then one more. And then I'll put the half square triangle units on the other side, press those, attach them to the blocks, and bing, bing, boom, voila, it done. Mwah, chef's kiss. Why am I doing chef's kiss all the time? But I don't know, but I am. Oh, my nose itches. All right, we're gonna put these together. Da, 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 da. One of the things that I've kind of learned, and this is a tip that maybe will help somebody else out there, sometimes when you're putting together a quilt block, the direction of your fabric can be important. Not all the time, but sometimes. Like, you want your half square triangle unit to go the right way so they can please look at the block. And I've been learning that if I take the time to put the fabric right sides together in the right direction, then when I take it to the sewing machine and I stitch it, usually, I won't say always, but usually I end up with the right results. But you know, sometimes that seam ripper is going to come out to play and there's just nothing you can do about it. My sister was here visiting last week before the schools all started back up again. And this is the sister that crochets, Nicole. And while she was here, she asked me if I would show her how to sew. And I thought, sure, why not? So I set her up on the Juki in the sewing room. I pulled out some white background fabric and a honey bun, and I cut up all the pieces of fabric into pieces that would work with one of the It's So Emma foundation paper pads. I got her the pineapple block paper pad. I had a couple of them. And I taught her how to foundation paper piece. The girl picked it up with just like one example. I didn't even finish a block. I just showed her the step a few times and the muscle memory took over. She got a couple blocks finished while she was here and then she left, but she did take supplies to continue working on that project home with her. And apparently her boyfriend's dad, I guess her boyfriend's mom had a sewing machine. Her boyfriend's sister sews as well. But apparently her boyfriend's dad has his wife's sewing machine tucked away in a closet. I think it's a vintage machine. I don't know what it is. But he's apparently pulled it out and cleaned it up for her. And so she'll be sewing on that. And I told her if she brings it with her, she's coming back for Labor Day. If she brings it with her, I can help her out with it a little bit. I'm not an expert, but there might be some things that I can teach her about it. Like how to oil it, how to wind a bobbin, how to thread it. I'm hoping that she probably has already figured all that out, though. But next week is Labor Day weekend, so the chances of her actually working with that machine before then maybe are very slim. I got a text message, and I didn't see who it was from. Saw it pop up. I heard the ding. But I don't have my text message window up and running in front of me to see who's been messaging me. Let me get that open so that I can see it. Oh, hi. Bill wants to know what fabric line is this from the block of the month. I actually don't know. I called to find out. They didn't tell me. So I don't know, Bill. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Oh, Mitzi, thank you for joining the VIP program. Awesome. All right, let's get these sewn onto the top. It'll go like this. There we go. So it's going to go like that, and then the bottom will be down here. So I'm going to turn it this way because this is how I'm going to sew it. And I'm just going to lay the top on each one of these blocks so that everything's ready to sew together. Hello, VR. Speaking of VIP, is there one this Sunday? Let me look at the calendar. I believe it's next Sunday. We've slacked off on sending those emails at the first of the month with the reminders, haven't we? Oh no, I lied. It is this Sunday. Man, the whole summer has been hard for me. It's been very busy, and I feel like I have been not on top of my game with appointments. But yes, there is a VIP Zoom on Sunday from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. If your name is in green on the chat, that means you are helping to support my channel through the YouTube subscription program. And as a thank you for that, there will be a Zoom link posted on my community tab tomorrow so that you can bookmark that link and use it for Sunday. And then if you are a member of my VIP program, that same Zoom link will be emailed to you tomorrow afternoon, maybe tomorrow morning. So you want to check your email for that as well. It'll also be posted to the VIP Facebook group, and it'll be in the members only area of the website where all the patterns are downloadable for free. Oh, speaking of the website, y'all, I did a thing, and I will show it to you a bit later. But I decided to make some quilt math calculators, and I put them on the website. So I'm going to give Katie from Greenland Quilter a shout out for this idea, because she messaged me this week and said, hey, can you do a little bit of quilt math for me? And I was like, okay. And she's like, I need the formula to figure out da 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 da. And I won't spoil what she asked for because I think this is a video topic that she's planning. So just keep your eyes peeled to her channel to see what she's got up her sleeve. But I said, yeah, it's just a really simple formula. You would just do this, da 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 da. And so I pulled up a Google sheet, a Google spreadsheet, and I made a really quick form that allowed you to put in the couple of parameters that she had, and then I coded the formula that would do the math for her and spit out the results that she was looking for. It took me like 5 minutes to do. And I sent it to her, and she was like, "Oh, thanks." I was like, "Yeah, just share the spreadsheet with folks when you do the video, and that way they can use it too." And then I started thinking that's probably not a great solution if you're trying to help people calculate math or whatever. Yes, there are online calculators out there, but a lot of those calculators I don't love because they're clunky and they have a lot of information all over them, and they can be a little... I just want a spot to put the numbers, and I want reliable results. That's all I want. I don't want ads. I don't want to have to read a user manual to know how to use it. And I don't want it to be overloaded with tons of fine print. So I decided, why not build out a section of my website for quilting calculators? If you go to my website now, sewbecca.com, there is a section of the website that says quilting calculators. And within that area, there are several of them that you can play with. And I will bring them up and show them to you after I finish getting these blocks together. Once all 4 of these blocks are made, I'll do a screen share and I'll show you what those calculators look like. But that's something that was new that happened this week. I had a ton of fun just sitting. During family time, we were watching TV, and I've always got to have something to occupy my hands while we're watching TV. Otherwise, I will just fall asleep. I have to multitask. I'm not a big TV person. TV for me is something that happens in the background while I am working on something else. And so Jason and I have been watching a show. I can't even remember the name of it, but it's a good show. I've been listening to it. I like the story. It's something Monkey, Bad Monkey. It's called Bad Monkey on Apple TV, I think. It's a good show. I like the storyline. I'm listening to it with him, but I just can't sit and stare at the TV. I have to have something else to do. So I pulled my laptop out, and while we were watching Bad Monkey this week, I just started coding, writing out some scripts for the website to do these quilt calculators. And I've tested them. They seem to be working pretty good. I'm getting the results I would expect to get. So I'd love it if you guys tried them. And if the results don't come back the way that you think they should, just let me know. Shoot me an email. But I'm pretty confident that they're right. And they are free, FYI. I did have that question. I sent it to Tracy from the Sewing Channel. I was like, I did a thing, check it out. And I sent it to her. And she came back with, my word, are those free? And I was like, yeah. Yes. VIP Zoom is this weekend, Mary. The 25th. Next weekend is Labor Day. It's September 1st is the Sunday. So no, the Zoom is this weekend. Math Geek says, I would love to have events listed on the website ahead of time again. Not a problem. Will do. Absolutely. We'll get back on that. Part of the struggle is I'm horrible at updating the website, and Mary has been truthfully posting the events and things to the website, and I think her life just got a little busy. My life got a little busy, and we haven't been the best stewards of doing that. So we'll get back on top of that. Kelly Molitor is the winner for the first raffle. Congratulations, Kelly. Make sure to claim your prize in the chat. Mary will get you all sorted out. You'll want to email her your address at mary@sewbecca.com. You keep seeing ads for Bad Monkeys, Angela? Yeah. It's a neat show. It's got a storyline that it's one of those where there is a narrator, and the narrator is telling you what appears at the beginning to be 2 different stories, but they're actually one story that kind of merge together. All right, so that's the one side. Now I got to do this side, and then the blocks all put together. Oh gosh, look at how beautiful that's going to be when it's done. Hello, Jewel. Thank you, Linda. She says, beautiful block. This weekend, or not weekend, I keep saying weekend and I mean week. This week, one of the things that I did in the evening, I took a bit of time to go through and recatalog my projects, my my UFOs and works in progress that are in my project bins behind me on the shelf. I just wanted to kind of get those in better shape. They've been in bins and I needed to play a little bit of quilt bankruptcy, project bankruptcy, to see if there was something in there that I didn't want to finish. There were a couple of projects I was like, no, I'm not finishing that. No, not finishing that. Out with the old, in with the new. So I gave myself the grace to let those projects be kitted up and paid forward to probably a free table at Quilt Guild meeting, or more than likely it'll be the free table at a retreat that I go to sometime next year. And after I did that, I actually only got rid of 2. After I did that, and one of them was a scrap project that I started and was just like, yeah, I'm never finishing this. I looked down and I had like 8 empty bins and not that many projects that were in progress. And I started thinking about all of the quilts that I've worked on this year. And man, I have got a lot done, especially considering, I have a full-time job and I make YouTube content and all that other stuff, but I feel very productive this year. I need to get more of my quilt tops quilted so that they can be properly finished. I just don't prioritize time on the long arm like I ought to. And it's honestly because I just don't really have a desire to do a lot of free motion quilting on my own. I do have it in my crosshairs to get Pro Stitcher for my handy quilters sometime in the next couple of years. And I think when that happens, I will finish more quilts. All right. That, my friends, is the last seam on the blocks for month number 2, which means it's time to press these, and then I'll show you my quilting calculators. Oh, so pretty. You guys just wait and see. I'm going to just mist this a little bit and give it a good press so that the whole block is nice and flat, because this is the final seam. It's the final quilt seam. Do-do-do-do. Yeah? No? You're not feeling it? I am. You're welcome. There's your earworm for the week. Do you like how I was rocking out? Like, oh, that's a heart. No. No? No? Okay, fine. Mary, thank you for doing that. Mary said, for those of you that are in the VIP program, you know what actually we'll do? This will make my life a lot easier. For those of you that are channel supporters, we'll give you access to the VIP Facebook group, and we'll make sure to put dates in the Facebook group and the links in there as well. We're just asking for the honor system that if you decide to leave the Facebook group, or you decide to leave the membership, or if you decide to leave the channel membership, you leave the Facebook group, since that's supposed to be a benefit for paying members. But the other thing that we'll do is put all of the dates without the Zoom link in the Facebook, the Sew Becca and Friends Facebook group, so that no matter where you're at or who you are, if you have an invitation to that VIP Zoom because you're a channel supporter or a VIP member, they're 2 different things, remember, you can at least mark your calendar for all of the dates. And we will get that done this week. I will Mary, if you remind me, just text me so I have it on my to-do list. I will make sure it gets done this weekend before I go back to work on Monday. Oh, that's still a little damp down there. Let's get that starch dried. Oh, this block, you guys. Woof. And it's not perfect. I know there are definitely some spots in here that aren't lined up the way they ought to be, but honestly, this is got so much stuff going on in the quilt. It's so intricate between the fabric, or so busy between the fabric, the prints, and all the different shapes and how big it's going to be. We're not going to stress about points that are less than 1/8 of an inch off. Oh, gosh. This is one of those where I see the fabric on its own and I'm just like, I don't know. And then I see it together and I'm like, yeah, it's great. All right, you guys ready to see the block? Oh, hold on. Still got starch. Okay, guys. All right, guys. My text messages are blowing up. I don't know where it went. Whatever. Do I not have my streaming thing? I do have. Okay. That's fine. You probably can't hear it anyway, and even if you can, who cares? All right. Here we go. This is the block. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't she lovely? Isn't she wonderful? You know? I think so. Let's go here. And then let's go here so that you can see the whole doggone thing. Look at that. Right? Oh, so pretty. It's called the Light and Dark Star for the month. I'm honestly just sitting here staring at the picture of it on my computer monitor. So pretty. And there are 4 of them. That is month number 2. So what I'm going to do is there was a sticker, I think, in my bin that had, it was a sticker on the baggie that the stuff was in, I thought. Month 4, month 5, month 3. I don't know where it went. Okay. Well, this is month 2. Oh, here it is. Arab. See if I can pull it off. And put it right here. And this was the month 1. Oh. This was the month 1 block. This will be the center of the quilt. And these are the pieces that they sent to me. And I ended up not needing them. So I don't know how I recovered from this block doing something different, but maybe they sent me other pieces and I used them and I just don't remember. But this is month 1. So I'm going to take the sticker off the bag and put it on the block. Okay, no I'm not, because it just got ruined. All right, I will figure out something later. I'll probably just put a Post-it note on it, but for right now, I'm just going to fold it gently in half and lay it in my bin. Let me show you these quilt calculators that I'm talking about. Grab my keyboard. Oh, and for those of you that came in late and want to know what the quilt's going to look like when it's all put together, it will look like this. It's called Arabella, and it is by Wing and a Prayer Designs. And you guys, let me tell you, I think that's aptly named because I'm going to need a wing and a prayer to get this quilt finished. But I'm going to do it. Oh, look, I can even point out what we actually did so far. So if we come back to the overhead camera, this is month 1, and then month 2 were these 4 blocks here. Oh gosh, that's so pretty. So again, this is, I think you could probably buy the pattern on your own, but I'm doing this as a block of the month with Stitch in Heaven. Okay, let's head over to my website. I want to show you these quilt calculators so you know where they're at. All right, so coming over here, this is my website if you've never been here before, and up at the top, right here, there's an option that says calculators, and you can get it to it from your mobile device as well. On your mobile device, you're just going to click the 3 lines that's the menu, and you'll choose calculators, and they'll all be listed under here. I also created a page. And, oh, Ian already dropped it in the chat, so thank you. I made a landing page for these as well in case you just want to bookmark the quilting calculators themselves. As I add additional calculators here, I will also list them to this page. Each one of these pieces of blue text are a link to the calculator, and there is also a description of what that calculator does. So for example, if you want to just convert a decimal to a fraction because maybe you're working with instructions, or you did some math in your head or did some math on the calculator and you have a decimal but you don't know how to get it into fraction for yardage, converting decimals to fractions can be a difficult thing. So if you just click on this, all you got to do is put in the decimal. So if I put 0.175 and I hit enter, it's going to tell me what the fraction is. Now I'm going to tell you the fine print is all listed here. They should be in fully reduced format, and the increments can be in 1/8, 1/4, or half increments. So the denominators can be 8, 4, or 2, and it does round up to the nearest eighth of a yard. So that's why it says, I feel like that probably should have been 1/8. So I'll have to look at that formula to make sure it's right. But either way, the other couple of calculators that are here, for example, let's do the quilt size calculator. This one, you ever have a set of orphan blocks and you want to put them together, but you don't know how big the quilt is going to be? Well, this is going to help you with that. So you can tell it how many blocks you want per row, and we'll say we want 3 blocks per row, and then you can tell it how many rows, 4. And then you just tell it the the squared size of the block in inches. So let's say it's 12.5 inches. And then you just answer these couple of questions. Does the block have sashing? Yes or no? If yes, then go ahead and type in the finished size of that sashing. Does the block have borders? Yes. And then it'll ask you how many borders does it have. We're going to say 2 because the sashing is going to be an inner border and then the final border. So when I put the number 2 in here, it's going to ask me the finished size of border 1 and the finished size of border 2. And when I hit calculate quilt size, it's going to tell me that the quilt will have a total of 12 blocks, formatted as 4 rows of 3 blocks, each measuring 12.5 inches. And the finished quilt should measure 55.5 inches by 70 inches. Now you know when you have those orphan blocks laying around how big of a quilt you're going to get from that. Let's see, what are some of the other ones? Oh, HST conversion. This does have your seam allowance broken down into it. So all you have to do, and this is for right now, it is just using the 2 at a time method. So you just give it the size of the finished size of the half square triangle block that you want, and you click do the math, and it's going to tell you what to cut. Now, I'm going to tell you the fine print, as it says over here, it is oversized to allow you to make your half square triangle units and then square them up. So it's not just the 1/4 inch. There is a little bit of extra room. So if you're a beginner or your 1/4 inch isn't consistent, you're good to go. I will be adding additional calculators. I'm still working on the scripts for them to do like the 4 at a time and the flying geese and all those others, but this is what I've got so far. We also have border calculator. So if you want to know what you need for your borders. You just put the quilt width here, you do the length, and then how wide do you want that border to be? And then how wide is the fabric? You could assume 40 inches, but 42 inches, but you could change that to whatever it is you're working with. And when you hit calculate, it's going to tell you how much yardage you need and the number of strips that you need to cut. But this is assuming that you're going to cut your borders to be selvage to selvage instead of the length of the fabric. It's the width of the fabric. So you would have to piece that, and all that should be in the fine details for you. And then the backing calculator is just kind of like, it's just that. How wide is the quilt? How long is it? How wide is the backing fabric that you're going to use? And how much overage do you need? And when you calculate yardage, it'll tell you approximately how much yardage you're going to need for that, for the backing of that quilt. And binding calculator is here as well. This one I love. I think this was the first one I did. So you tell it the length of the quilt, the width of the quilt, and then you can choose whether you want 2 1/4 or 2 1/2 inches for your binding size. And when you hit calculate, it's going to tell you in this box over here how many inches of finished binding you're going to need for that entire perimeter of the quilt, how much yardage is required, and then how many strips to cut. So if you're doing 2 1/2 inches, you need to cut 8 strips at 2 1/2 inches. So I think I covered all of the calculators. There's one more here that you can, and I feel like I won't talk about the other stuff, but you put in the width of a piece of fabric that you have and then the length, and hit convert, and it'll tell you how many pieces of fabric you can get out of that. So if you've got some scraps and you want to know what you can cut that down to, this will help you with that. You don't have to figure it out on your own. What do you guys think? Jan Morin, congratulations. Congratulations. Kelly says, those are awesome, Becca. Thank you. Awesome. Can you consider doing a flange binding quilt or flange binding calculator? Absolutely, Loretta. If you have, Mary, if people have additional, if you could help me, please, Mary, if people have additional calculator ideas, will you just jot them down on a piece of paper so that I can remember to do them? Because I won't remember that, but that's a great idea. If there's one that you would like to see me try to tackle, send it my way. I can, once you figure out the formula, you can make the computer do the math for you so you don't have to pull out a calculator and try to remember it all the time. So I hope you guys use them. The quilting math hurts my brain, Karen said. It can be hard. I think what happens with quilting math is we can all add, right? Where adding 2 + 2 is fine. We can do that. But then when you have to add 2 + 2 + 2 + 2, which we can still all do, is fine. It's fine. But then you have to remember to add in seam allowances and then take away seam allowances when you're adding some things up. And it starts to get to be a little overcomplicated, but you can script the computer to know when to accommodate the seam allowance and when to not include it, and the computer can think about it and hurt its own brain, and you can just rely on the results from the calculator. So, all right, I'm ready to do some more sewing. So I'm going to go on to block number 3, which, let's see if we can figure out what block number 3 is going to be. Block number 2 is the dark light star. Oh, good grief. My brain hurts. Because we're going to be making some V blocks. So this is what month number 3 is going to look like, and it is going to be 4 of these units. We're going to make this block, and let's see if we can find it in the quilt. So it's the one with the, it's these. These 4 blocks are what we're going to make. Oh, I love all the stars. I don't know if I'm going to tackle all of that tonight, but we're going to get started because it ain't gonna sew itself. So let's pull back the camera here. And I'm gonna get my baggie for month 3 out. And now actually you can see how all the stuff comes from Stitch in Heaven. So in month 1, you're going to get, when you do a block of the month with them, this is what happened with the other one I did too. In month 1, you get the full pattern. So I got this whole thing in my first package, and I got my month 1 packet of fabric. And then every subsequent month, I get my month of pre-cut fabric. And this is what I got for month 3. And you can see how it's labeled and how it's cut. So everything has a little baggie. It's all nicely contained, and they're bagged by the fabric. So fabric 9 is in here, 3 is in here, 7 is in here, 8's here, 6 and 5. But this is what I was telling you about. Like, I wished it was 8A, 8B. Instead, it's telling you like what it's used for and what the measurements are. And I think that's just because the pattern has it that way. So we're going to just set these aside and look at the instructions to figure out what we need to do first. Okay. It wants us to use fabrics 3 and fabrics 7 to make a strip set. And then fabrics, there's another one. Is it fabric 6 now? Okay, make one strip set. I gotta, because it's not in color, I gotta make sense of it. So it wants us to make one strip set using the fabric 3 and fabric 7, and then make one strip set of fabric 3 and fabric 6, and then we're going to subcut those. So I'm just going to match these up so that I don't get my brain twisted. So there's 1, 3 and 7, and 3 and 6. Okay, so this one's going to go for both. And then 6. And then we're going to make strip sets out of these. So that means I should have 2 of this. 1 is going to go in each pile. Okay, cool. I'm going to leave the stickers on there because they're not going to be in the way of my stitching. And it'll help me remember which was each fabric later down the road. So all I'm going to do is line up this long edge. I'm going to come over to my sewing machine, and I'm going to stitch down that long edge with a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. And because I am going to be subcutting this, I'm going to turn my stitch length so that it's a bit tighter. That way when I come in and subcut this, I don't cause my seams to pop open. I've noticed sometimes if I leave it on my default stitch length when I'm piecing and then I do subcuts, when I come in and do those subcuts, the last stitch right at that subcut can kind of come undone. And if it's big enough, it can, like the next stitch next to it can come undone too. And a lot of times I can deal with 1 stitch being undone, but then when I get to 2 or worse, 3 stitches that popped during the subcut process, it can, if I don't catch it and fix it, it'll leave a hole in the quilt is what I'm trying to say. So I have been trying to turn my stitch length down when I'm doing something like this to help mitigate that. That way if 3 stitches pop, it's still not that big of a deal. Obviously, you can backstitch when you start and end when you're making your blocks and putting your quilts together. However, to backstitch, I would have to stitch over this entire thing twice because I don't know where all my cuts are going to land until I press it. All right. And now we're going to do the same thing with 3 and 6. Looks like Jan Morin is a winner. I don't know if that's old though. I am so sorry if it is. All right. Now the pattern does not say which direction to press this to. However, I know based on the instructions that I'm going to take these 2 strip sets to make 4 patches, and we're going to have that fabric 3 in opposite corners. So based on that knowledge, I know that I probably should press the seams towards fabric 3 so that I can get a good nesting action going on. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to press my seams underneath fabric 3. Also, those quilt calculators, super big shout out to hubby who helped me with that. The 2 of us collided and collabed to bring you some technology. He's a programmer by day. Those are JavaScript calculators. He codes in JavaScript most every day for his job, so it was an easy feat for him. I just had to figure out the formula, do the formatting on the website, and he helped me with the code. Aw, Millie, thank you so much for that. I appreciate the tip. I'll put that towards a nice cup of coffee this weekend. Speaking of nice cups of coffee, the fall menu I heard is now officially live as of like yesterday for Starbucks. So get a pumpkin spice latte if that's your jam. The fall special is out there. Also, you know what else is coming out? So you guys, Chick-fil-A has a peach milkshake in the spring, summertime, depending on where you're at, that I love. Every year I don't have it all the time, but every year I get to treat myself to a peach milkshake at least once. And tonight was the night that I had my peach milkshake because I heard that on August 26th, next week, they're coming out with a new seasonal milkshake, which means the peach milkshake is going away. But this new one is like a banana pudding milkshake. And I love banana pudding, so I'm going to have to try that. Ian, do you like PSLs? I know you're not a big Starbucks fan, so I didn't know if you did. He said it's too hot in Texas for a PSL. It was like cool today. You almost needed a jacket. I know. One more month, Ian, and then it can be cold for you too. All right, so we're going to subcut these down. Let me look at the instructions to see what it said to subcut to. We need, out of each of these, we need to get 16. Okay, so y'all going to count with me? I feel like we're going to be on Sesame Street. 1, ha ha ha. 2, ah ah ah. Also, my mat is warped. Don't judge me. My mat is so warped. I ordered a new one. It'll be here next week. I had I've had other mats where I can do pressing with my wool mat on top of this, and as long as I put something on top of it right away when it's warm, when it's still warm, it goes back flat. This one did not. It don't like me. So yeah, don't judge my warped mat. I'm getting a new one. It'll be here soon. I need 16. So what I'm going to do, and I'm cutting these as 2.5-inch sections. So I'm going to cut off 8 5-inch blocks that will allow me to make sure that that seam in the center is dead center, because I can line up, you can't see what I'm doing, I can line up one of the lines on my ruler right underneath that. So let's just pull you down here so you can see a little bit better, and we'll zoom out some. That's still good, yeah? So I'm taking that measurement, putting it right on the seam, and then cutting through here. That's going to help keep that seam nice and straight. And I am cutting these just a little bit bigger than 5 inches. I think I'll have plenty to be able to work with. 1, 2, 3. Maybe not. Maybe I need to start going to 5. I don't need to worry about squaring them up. That's 4. This is 5. This is 6. Oh yeah, I'll be good. Okay. This is 7. And this is 8. And this is my scrap. So now I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to trim it at the 5-inch to get it perfectly square. And then I'm going to cut again at the 2.5-inch. There's 2. Okay, that's good. Right where that sticker is where my 2.5 inch is going to be. That's hilarious. Couldn't have planned that better if we tried. 3, 4. You may notice that one of the things that I'm doing is measuring this up, and sometimes I'm flipping this around. And what I'm looking for is to make sure that this line stays nice and straight on that seam. And I'm looking to see if this edge is clean. And if it's clean over, if it's not clean over here, then I'm flipping it around so that I can clean it up before I cut my 2.5-inch strip. This is probably where my, what is that ruler? The big ruler with all the slots in it. What is that called? I can't remember. Somebody's going to be able to tell me in the chat, though. Somebody will know. Somebody will know. It's the one that lets you do all the subcutting. I have one, but it doesn't fit on this mat. And so I can't really easily use it on camera. It has to be on the mat that's on the other side of the room. I actually did show it off in a video, and I had to finagle it so that it was on the mat. It was Stripology, yes. Thank you, Dawn. I had to finagle it while I was using it, and I kept moving it around on the mat, and I know I was moving it a lot. And I got an email that basically asked me to not do that anymore and said that I wasn't, it was very confusing to see how to use the product with how I was flipping it about. There was no way to, I couldn't use it on the white table. I had to keep moving it. So I just decided we'll keep it off camera. It's not a tool that I can easily use in my setup. Josie Brown, congratulations. You are our next winner. But yeah, the Stripology would have made this a whole lot easier. Would have gone a lot faster. Okay, looks like there will be one more raffle tonight after Josie claims her prize, and then we're going to stop the raffles and save the prizes for another time. Which will be about the time that we're going to end. So, Becca, did your block of the month come pre-cut? Yes, it did. So all of these pieces, you can see this is exactly how it came to me. It's not pre-cut like Cotton Cuts is, though. Cotton Cuts block of the month, they give you the pieces and you don't have to square anything down. You don't have to cut it all. So if they're going to have you make a bunch of 4 patches, which is exactly what I'm going to do, Cotton Cuts is going to give you a bunch of squares. You can see that the block of the month here, there's a gnat. I don't know if I got it. The block of the month that's here gave me pre-cut pieces of fabric, but there is some cutting still required. Oh, there it is. Way over there. Nope, I didn't get it, but I'm not going to chase it. All right, so now what we're going to do is set these aside and subcut this one down, and we're going to do the same thing that we did before. Just going to make sure that my seam is nice and straight. 1. 2, and this one I'm just going to go ahead because I did it right on the 5. We can make this a little bit faster. So these 2 are done. So that's 2. This is 3 out of 8. And I can just go ahead and cut them down now so that I don't have to think about it later. It's 4. Let's go ahead and cut this one down while it's here. So that's 6. We need to do 10 more. So what I'm doing now is trying to find the 5-inch line, and I'm putting that on the cut edge of my strip. And if the seam is not straight, then I'm moving the block over just a little bit to get the seam straight again. And then I'm just going to clean up my edge and then subcut that into 2.5 inch pieces. If the seam is straight, like it is here, and the clean edge hits at the 5-inch mark, then I'm just going to cut and then move the ruler over to 2.5 inches on that cut line over here. And then I'll take my pieces. So what is this? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I got to do 3 more sets. Seam is straight, cut is straight. We'll cut that, subcut. Seam is straight, edge is straight. We'll cut, subcut. And the last one. Seam straight, edge is still straight. Awesome. This is my scrap. And this is my last set of 2. And now I can make my 4 patches. So I'm going to lay these out so that the fabrics are all going in the direction that I need them to. I want to make sure that my 4 patches are oriented the way that the pattern tells me to have them oriented. There's that. Okay, this says for the 4 patches, we're going to have in the top right, it's going to be fabric 7, which was this dark one. So it's going to be like this. All right, cool. Which means we're going to pair all of these up so that I don't get them backwards. And I'm going to set them so that the seam I'm taking is next to my sewing machine, because otherwise I will stitch on the other side and I will not make the right 4 patch. Although, wouldn't it just end up being, like, I just would have to rotate it? But if I take the time to lay all these out the right way, pair them all up, then I can just chain stitch them and it'll feel like it's going faster even if it really isn't. Becca, I've been quilting close to 40 years, but sister, you are such a great instructor for folks in this channel. Bless your heart. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. My dream is to one day when I retire be able to just teach quilting and sewing and do all of that full time. I can't do it right now, and I'm not quitting my 9-to-5 to do that, but I do enjoy being able to do it in my downtime when I have it. So I think that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy being able to have a YouTube channel, because it gives me a chance to teach quilting on my schedule without having to travel. I just get to do it from home. It does mean I have to know how to edit videos, though. You guys, by the way, S. Lopez wants to know, what is your most used ruler? It is my Creative Grids 8-inch by 12.5-inch ruler. I use that most, well, actually, I'm going to tell you I use 3, but that one is the one I use the most. The 8-inch by 12-inch ruler. I also use this if I need to square up something small. It's the 5.5 by 5.5-inch ruler. And I use a 2.5-inch by 6.5-inch ruler, or 2.5-inch by 6-inch, something like that. And all 3 are Creative Grids. I'm sorry, not Creative Grids, Quilter Select. They are Quilter Select, forgive me. I used Creative Grids for years until I saw how great the Quilter Selects were and how they didn't slip at all. And I converted. I bought Those 3 rulers, and I haven't taken the plunge to buy it. Well, actually, I think I have a 10-inch of that too. But rulers are pricey, and I went down the rabbit hole of buying every single Creative Grids ruler. And I just decided, I can make do with what I have. I don't need all of those rulers. Those can be nice gifts when Jason's looking for something to get for me for Christmas or birthday or Mother's Day. That can be something that he buys and adds to my collection because they're something I will use, but they're not something that I need. So I just make do with the 3 or 4 that I have. If I need the bigger ruler, like if I need a specific size ruler, I still have my full collection of Creative Grids. I'm not getting rid of those until I have a full collection of Quilters Select. So it's not like I have to do without. I just really prefer the Quilters Select rulers. Shelly says, I love that you think you'll have time when you retire. That's cute. LOL. You're funny. Well, so in full disclosure, when I retire from my 9 to 5, I don't envision being retired. I envision starting a second career. And this is going to be that second career, right? Like full on quilting, more time spent writing patterns, more time teaching, maybe hosting retreats, maybe traveling to teach. That's what I want to do. That's my dream career, but I am not quitting my 9 to 5 to do that. I love what I do. I love my job, and I'm going to stick with it until I hit retirement. And then once that happens, then I can make this my full-time gig. Have you seen the new So Yeah rulers? No, I haven't. Do tell. Tell me about their rulers. And should I get some and test them out in a video? Shelly says, I don't know what I do all day, but it takes me all day to do it. S. Lopez says, mostly after retirement, I buy fabric. Libby's asking, what is your full-time job? I am a program manager, an IT program manager. Oh, Jewel says I should check them out. They seem to be cheaper. I'll check them out. Maybe I'll get a couple of them and show them to you on a video when they come in. What is USFS? United States Forest Service? I retired from USFS in 2011. I spend my summers working in finance on wildfire assignments. Very cool. 6'4", finance. Oh, who has that song stuck in their head from TikTok too? Jackie says, I am retired, packing up my parents' house in the mornings, me time, sewing, etc. after lunch. Hello, Trey. Oh, really? Flicky Chicky said she tried a So Yeah non-slip ruler and it's not as good as the Quilter Select. Oh, sorry to hear that. I gotta try it out though. I might buy one for myself, a small one, just to see what it's like. I don't know that one, Ian. He says I have that HOTTOGO stuck in my head. I don't know that one. Lynn says I left retirement to make money to buy a long arm since it wasn't in my long-term financial plans, but it's been worth it. Melody says I retired 2 years ago and I have no idea where all that extra time goes. A few people are saying that the Quilter Select rulers, they have a hard time seeing the lines on them. I think the visibility on the quilt, on the Creative Grids is definitely better, but the non-slip on the Quilter Select, oh, but the mark, see, I want the marking system from Creative Grids with the non-slip from the Quilter Select. Janet says, I have a Missouri Star, OmniGrid, and Creative Grids, and I like the Missouri Star one. Okay, how does this want me to press? It doesn't say. It doesn't care. So we're going to do it however I feel like. I'm just going to finger press them all in one direction, and then I will convince it with some heat. The iron's heating up. Somebody asking what machine I'm on. I'm sewing on a 1951 Singer 301. She is custom painted red and her name is Ruby. Oh, Ruby, don't take your love to town. Oops. I was pressing them all the same way, and this one I messed up. Batique's finger press, so nice. Janet is hoping to retire in 12 months. Congratulations. Francis says, I thought it was a featherweight by the sound of it. Close, close. It does use the same bobbin as a featherweight. This is the next step up from a featherweight. Mitzi says, I retired from nursing informatics. I tweaked the electric medical records. I have been very happy for the last 2 years. Awesome. Shelley says, I know, right? I think the weeks fly by faster than when I was working full time. I have to schedule time to sew. I seem to just always have something else to do or somewhere else to go. Congrats, Andrea, on winning the prize. Quilting Compound says, I love sewing with batiks. Becca, did you order an Advent Missouri Star box this year? Yes, I actually did. And how would you guys, I'm not allowed. Missouri Star has already made it clear. They made it clear last year. They're going to make it clear again this year too. Mama J Enterprises, Andrea, you're the one that won, so make sure to claim your prize. They made it clear last year. They sent out an email to all of their affiliates that said and maybe they sent it to everybody, I don't know. But they said, I definitely got an email last year that said, if you got the Advent box, please do not open it until after Jenny reveals the day's contents for that day on the website. So to keep it off of social media so that you don't ruin the surprise for people. So I'm not going to open it in advance. I'm going to honor that request. I think that's fair. But I'm thinking about sharing them with y'all, sharing the contents of it, but I don't know if I want to do it as a short, one of those vertical videos, or if I want to do it as just a quick daily in and out 3-minute less video that's like this. What do you guys think? Like a 3 to 5 minute video every day or a 20-second video? Let me know in the comments or on the live chat. Linda says, I ordered it once. Is it worth it in your opinion? Okay, so I've had it a couple of times. I will tell you the first year that I got it was the very first year that they had it, and I was very disappointed. I never came out publicly and said that I was disappointed because I didn't want to give them a bad rap, and I felt like there was a lot of folks out there that had already done the complaining. I didn't need to be another person jumping on that bandwagon. But the money was spent, and I try to find the silver lining in everything. Even if you've got to shovel some manure to find that silver lining, there's a silver lining. And so the silver lining in that was that I had a small gift to open every single day in December leading up to Christmas. And that was nice. Even if I didn't like the gift, even if it was something I didn't want to use, even if it was something I couldn't use, it was still a little bit of me time that I got to sit and open a little gift. And that was just the experience of that was fun. I don't know that first year that the value was all there. Honestly, that first year, and you can go back and look at it. I think I have the videos still on my YouTube channel. They were the first set of videos that I really did. They were very, very short. That first year, I had expected, since I was ordering a Missouri Star Advent box, a countdown to whatever they called it that first year. Jenny's favorite things is what I think it was. I had expected to get a box that, quite honestly, was going to be full of things that quilting Jenny loved. And instead, they were literally things that Jenny liked, and some of them felt a little less than great. And the only reason why I'm even bringing any of that up is because I feel like in subsequent years, they've learned. And so they've been releasing Advent boxes the past few years, and I think the value is worth there. The stuff that you get's great. Sometimes the gifts are a little on the cheaper side, and some days they're a little more on the pricey side. And they are definitely geared towards quilters, which I think is also great. Sometimes you open the package and it might be a charm pack, and then the next day is a pattern for that charm pack with maybe a ruler or a notion or something that you're going to need for the project. So there's projects in there, there's notions in there, there's home goods stuff in there. It's just well thought out. I like it. And I feel like every year that they do it, it seems to get a little bit better. There's always going to be a gift or two or maybe three in any box that you get, whether it's a monthly subscription box or an advent calendar, that's just not your cup of tea. And that's the chance that you're going to take when you agree to give somebody money to give you a gift. You don't know what you're getting. So just kind of keep that in mind. And as long as you go into that with eyes wide open that you are buying this for the chance to be surprised and see what's being gifted to you, then you can't lose. Don't go into it with thinking, I'm going to get all of my money's worth and then some, and I'm getting a great deal. No, I mean, yes, maybe you're getting a great deal, but what you're really buying is the experience of having a gift and a surprise. Look at it that way, and I think you'll end up being a little bit more pleased than if you went into it looking the other way. Linda says, I got a cute bracelet, but it was not for a small person's wrist. That was that first year. So I remember that first year, Jenny used to wear a bracelet on her wrist, and it looked like a measuring tape. It was a bangle. And I have big wrists. There were some packages that I was not in love with, but I was looking forward to that last one. That last one, I was like, there's going to be something good in that last package. There's going to be something good in the last package. And so I sat down, and it was time to open package number 25. And I ripped open the brown paper bag, and out came the bangle. And as soon as I saw that bracelet, I knew what it was because I watched Jenny's videos every single Friday. I saw it in all the videos. So I knew what it was, and I was excited, but also almost instantly deflated because I knew that I was probably not going to be able to wear that bracelet. And it was the one thing in the box that I actually was very excited about. And so I went and tried to put it on, and sure enough, I couldn't get it past my knuckles. I was so disappointed. The only thing I could do was laugh. So that's what I did in the video. I made a video of it. I was like, look, guys, it doesn't fit on my wrist. Because that's all I could do was just laugh at it. But it was a beautiful bracelet, and it was a wonderful sentiment. And it was one of those things where one size fits most. I just happened to not be in the most category. I've missed the last 3 years because Missouri Star was on my no-buy list after June 2020. Oh, I don't know what happened with that. Linda says, my pen didn't work either, but I did love the little surprises. Tara says, I got the last 2 years. Last year was better than the previous year. I did like opening a gift each day. I didn't love everything, but I still enjoyed the experience. See? Oh, Linda says, I couldn't wear it because it was just so big. Yeah, VR says, you're still disappointed after all this time, Becca. You can see it in your face. I am. I loved that bracelet. But listen, even if I lost a ton of weight, like it's my bone structure. Like I can't make my hand go into that bangle. It would have been nice if it was a clasp or something like that. It would have been a little bit better. But man, that bracelet. But we did get some really cute sewing machine earrings. So that was cute. Martelli cutters. Thank you for changing the subject. Karen's asking, can you use Olfa or Fisker's blades in them? I believe so. I don't. I use Martelli blades in my Martelli cutter. I don't know why I do. I just do. I bought a bunch of them in bulk from my wholesaler, and that's just what I stick with. But I've heard other people using the different blades in the Martelli. Yep. Shelley says, I think their first year was sort of like the Oprah's favorite things. They did learn that their people wanted quilt items. They did. And listen, I know that we could take this down one of two ways. We could sit here and bash them and be like, oh, it was horrible. It was horrible. And every year sucks. And every year there's something wrong. Or we can look at the positive side of it and realize that, okay, yeah, that first year wasn't great. They made some mistakes, but they learned from them, and they made it better the next time. And the next time they made it better. And the next time they made it better. So, I've seen a couple of people in, they showed a couple of things in I'm sorry, what am I trying to say here? I don't remember. Oh, a couple of people in the chat said that I didn't get last year's was better than the year before, and that was better than, so it just, yeah, anyway, whatever. Last year was my first year, and I was surprised and happy with 23 out of 25 gifts. Awesome. Looks like there's a bit of politics happening in the chat. I see it, but I'm not going to opine on it, but I see it. All right. 4 patches are done. It's 9:45, so let's go into the Facebook group and see what you guys have been working on tonight. I am making some good progress. And, this has been stuck in my head. And I just want to say this without, this has been stuck in my head for a couple of weeks. I received some feedback that said I talk too much. I don't get enough done. And I don't want to start, I don't know where I'm going with this. So give me just a little bit of grace to just express myself here. When I'm on a live stream, I am talking, I am socializing, I am telling stories. And so it does appear that while I'm sitting in front of a camera or I'm recording a video, I am doing a lot of talking. That's part of why I would hope that you're coming here. You want to be entertained. You want to hear the stories. You want to talk with each other. You want to interact with me. And so that's why I talk a lot on my live streams and talk a lot in my videos. But when I'm working off camera, I am working faster because I am not stopping to talk and tangent and all the other things. So, yeah. I don't know why I felt the need to bring that up, or to even justify what I do in my sewing room when I'm not in front of a camera, or why I'm on the way I am in front of a camera. I just did. Okay, that probably just cost me a bunch of subscribers. Let's go into Facebook and see what you guys have been working on and get off that tangent. All right, so over in the Facebook group, we're going to refresh and I'm going to go to the home page. Hey. Okay, so in the Facebook group, we've got a few posts. The first one, actually, let me change this to new post so that we can see what it is. Oh my gosh, the chat. You guys, I love you. So many of you are like, we come to listen. Dead air is death to a video. We like for the talk and the laughter. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Oh, I'm not going to read out everyone, but I see them and I appreciate that. Let's look and see what you guys have been working on instead. Yvette Heart So says, I finished piecing these blocks. I just need to square them up and sew them together. Oh my gosh, I love those blocks. Oh, so pretty. Stacy, I see your comment, and those were my sentiments exactly. Jill says, I completed my chickens quilt. Oh my gosh, if Stephanie Harris from Memoirs of a Long Arm Quilter could see this quilt, she would die. Donna. DA, DA, DA. Tanya Rogers says that she did this for her husband. He has a Harley. He loves it, and he's going to hang it in the garage. Awesome. I like that. Janine, holy cow. Finishing up this little cross stitch up tonight. First of all, I thought that was a quilt and it was matchstick quilted. But it's just as impressive as a cross stitch. I just didn't realize I was looking at a cross stitch right away. Let's go on down. Katie says that she finished this earlier for a friend's daughter. Only easy projects for the rest of the weekend. Well, I'd say so, because holy cow, that had to have been a doozy of a thing to put together. Katie from Greenland says the 4 blocks that I made using the same pre-cut pieces are from the Cotton Cuts Stitch It kit. The last block that is different is from fabric from July's Modern Maker box with an additional background color. Let's take a look at these blocks that she made. Ooh, very bright colors. Nice points, Katie. All right, moving. Oh, Carol, you do the raffle in the live chat, not in the Facebook group. Lori shared this. She shared this earlier this week, but I want to give her a special shout out here. She said her sister surprised her with a quilt of valor at So Yeah on Monday, and she made her ugly cry. She has been working on it for 8 months with the assistance of the beautiful people who sew there on Monday and Tuesday, and they have kept the secret this entire time. So here's a picture of Lori with that beautiful quilt of valor quilt. Check this out. Look at that. Way to go. I love it. So if you guys don't know, Lori served in the Air Force, I believe. Yep, there it is. And they've got the dates that she served. Thank you, Lori, so much for your service. And beautiful quilt. I hope you didn't ugly cry again, but if you did, it's okay. Holly says, I'm working on the 6th set of blocks, and then I get to sit and wait for the extra fabric I need to arrive in the mail to work on the other 6 block sets. I don't mind my messy sewing room. Hey, a messy sewing room is just a sign of a creative at work. Tracy says, I finished my quilt top, even had enough to make a pillowcase to match. Now to find the right color minky for the backing. Susan Year Out says, the first 2 are my last finishes, and they are hanging at the fairgrounds for the county fair over Labor Day weekend. They both got blue ribbons. The last photo are the blocks I have done for the 100 block sew along the quilt shop here is having. Wow, you got some ribbons, Susan. Nicely done. Oh, that's so pretty. Congratulations, Susan. Roberta said tonight she is sewing a Bargello panel for a bag. The right photo is both panels before the fusible foam. The left photo is my quilting progress on the second panel. Was that a panel that you made, or was it a pan? Yeah, you made that panel, right? It didn't, because I see the seams. So you made a couple of Bargello panels to turn into a bag, I think. You guys, VR, I see, I see you. Sand Dollar Stitcher is here. Hello, I see you. 3 to 5 minutes, please. Wait a minute, what is that? 3 to 5 minutes. That's from Deadpool. 3 to 5 minutes. Yes, I know what that is. 3 to 5 minutes is all it takes to be a hero. That's what they said, or that's what he told Deadpool. Oh God, what was his name? I can't remember the character's name. I just remember Deadpool. Anyway, I know this. The scene is in my head. Maybe you got it. All right. I appreciate all of the love that's in the chat. Just know I see it and I appreciate it. Jody Smith says, I helped my 13-year-old son sew a drawstring bag. I made up the pattern myself and then tried to make it as easy as possible. You did a great job. You both did. Look, it's awesome. Oh my goodness. Aw, Terry says, I have nothing quilty to post, but want to say don't change. We love your channel. And this is my pupper, Sebastian. He's added for cuteness. He's 13. Mary, look at the puppy. Oh, she already did. Tracy says 40 of the 80 blocks done, and now she's sewing the rows together. Oh, somebody got their long arm. Jennifer got a new quilty friend. Awesome. Congratulations. I hope you get lots of quilts finished. Diane Adams says, current work in progress, only a few more rounds to go. This is the Dales Ford quilt by a Jen Kingwell pattern. Kai Smith said, hi, I'm a 13-year-old boy and these are my recent projects. Please rate them out of 10. 100 out of 10, dude. I love that fabric, by the way. I wish my 13-year-old would sew with me. Kai, can you teach my 13-year-old to sew? Asking for a friend. Melissa says, not a finished project, but a shop hop purchase or two from yesterday. Black boo as the sashing, fat quarters as rectangles, stripes as binding, and pumpkins on black for the backing of lickety split pattern. I even found the coordinating panel while shop hopping today and a bag from today as well. So this is from the Hey Boo line by Lolo Boutique. I know because I have a quilt kit. I have the skulls and flowers quilt kit that I want to put together. I also know because it's Lolo Boutique. I mean, come on. Jody Smith says a little wall hanging for autumn. Cute. Nice. Karen says, today I've been working using my walking foot to quilt a quilt of valor. The fabric is polish pottery patterns. The quilt is for my sister-in-law. I just have a little bit more to free motion quilt on the corners. Kelly said this is her block for the August calendar. Lily says, I also did my very first FPP block. Way to go, Lily. Yes, I'm so proud of you. Good job. She also needs to do some binding. It's almost done and it's ready to go to its forever home. Lily, you did a marvelous job. Look at that. This is a great way to use a panel, guys. It's just the center focal part of the quilt, and then she's just got quilt blocks all around it, and then borders. That's great. That's a wonderful idea. I never know what to do with panels. So whenever I see a quilt with a panel that I like, I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. And then I don't remember it later. Maybe you also have that problem. Colossus is the dude's name from Deadpool. Right, but what was Ryan Reynolds? What was his character name before he transitioned to Deadpool. I keep wanting to say Peter, and I know that's wrong. Hello, Noreen. She says, new to your channel. Hello. Ian says, I think Jessica needs a day off soon. Jessica made a quilt that was 7 yards long. She added more fabric to the quilt, and now it is 17 yards long. How much fabric did Jessica add to the quilt? A yard is 36 inches. Somebody do the math. What is 17 times 36? Because we're going to say too dang long. 3 yards would have been sufficient. 3 yards would have been 108. Wade Wilson, thank you. Thank you. 3 to 5 minutes, Wade. That's all it takes. I remember now. I just couldn't get the name. Oh, it was stuck. It was right here. It was right here. Wade Wilson. 3 to 5 minutes, Wade. 3 to 5 minutes. I want to put that on my desk at work. All right. Ooh, Susan says she's sewing the last block for her summer challenge quilt. Martha says, Gracie says, please be you. My mama and daddy adore you. Oh, look at the bobbies. All right, and I think that's it in the Facebook group, guys. So, you know what that means? We're done here for tonight. I'm going to go spend some time with the hubby. Tomorrow, I'm excited because in the afternoon, we're going to go to the Stone House 612 inches. Thank you, Mary. She did the math. Tomorrow, my husband and I are going to go to the Stone House Quilters Guild show. They're having a guild show this weekend. It was today and is tomorrow, and I'm excited to see all of the beautiful quilts that are on display there. I will try to capture some video clips and photos and give you a beautiful recap of the quilt show in a video next week, so stay tuned for that. Next Friday, I have no idea what I'm going to be sewing, but it'll be something, and it'll be fun, and it'll be great, and we'll work on it together. Don't forget, if you are a channel supporter here, or a VIP member on my website, we are doing a Zoom on Sunday. I would love to have you there. We will get you the link sometime tomorrow. I'll be sewing with you on Zoom on Sunday, and I'll see you guys next week. Tell someone you love them, be kind to yourself, and be creative. Bye, friends.